Midwest Picker on YouTube.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Midwest Picker here. My name is Dave. I'm a full-time RN, full-time husband, father, part-time reseller, mostly eBay, a little bit of Facebook Marketplace now. I dabbled in Mercari, don't do much with that anymore, and a part-time YouTube content creator. Now what this is a what sold on eBay video. So I tell you where I sourced the item, what I paid for it, what it sold for, how it shipped, and 2 new features. Did I use promoted listings or a sales promotion? And would I recommend you buy this too? Alright, so first item I sold was vintage tobacco cards, also called cigarette cards. And I didn't explain this real well the last what sold on eBay videos. But these are little tiny cards. It's like almost a third of a trading card, like a baseball card. And these came out in the turn of the century, 1910s, 1920s, 1930s. Cost of goods $2.19. I had this listed for $59.95. I took a best offer of $50. This was part of a 20% off promotional sale because I put my whole eBay store on sale. So the price really came down a lot. I think that helped it sell. And would I recommend it? Absolutely yes. If you find tobacco cards or cigarette cards in the wild that are in really good condition, I highly recommend them. If you get the complete set, big thumbs up on that. Next, I'm going to butcher this name. Next is Jabra Bluetooth headset. I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter if I don't know what it is because it's brand new in the box. Has a UPC code and a serial number. I can just look it up and research it. This was free to me, sold very quickly, $39.95. This was not promoted and it was not part of a sale. I do recommend this if you can get it cheap. Next is the Plasticville Cape Cod Plastic House. Cost of goods $1.87. This is part of that vintage toy lot. Sold cheap, $7.96 because it was 20% off as part of that sale. Why so cheap? Well, because it's broken and it's dirty. So I put in the description barn find because it really is a barn find. I didn't bother cleaning it. It's got glue residue on it. I'm like, you know what? Why spend hours and hours and hours cleaning it if it's already broken to get $12? I'm just going to list it as it is, let somebody else deal with it. I would recommend this even in poor condition if you can get it pretty cheap. Now my return on investment wasn't that great. Not a big profit, but it's a repeat customer, so these guys will come back and they'll buy my higher priced items or my higher quality items in the future. Another Plasticville item, $1.87 cost of goods. This is like a ranch style house. Same situation, dirty, dusty, broken, glue residue, still part of, I sourced it from that vintage toy auction. Same buyer as the previous one, $14.95. I sold my first lobby card, woo woo, woo woo. Movie is The Mystifiers. Cost of goods is $3.33. I bought 25 of these from Brian Davis, Mr. Buys a Lot, and I believe it was his YouTube live auction. Sold for $23.96, part of the 20% off sale that I had my whole store on. Would I recommend this? Probably not, because it takes a very long time to sell. These are called long tail items. Next is a model car kit called the Bed Buggy by George Barris. This is very rare. I don't know if I call it a toy, but it's a car model in the original box, but it's been assembled. Some parts might be missing. So it's considered used and for parts or repair only because I can't guarantee everything is there. But this is kind of a unicorn and it's very hard to find, so it's still sold very well. I bought this at a YouTube live auction, again from Brian Davis, Mr. Buys a Lot. Cost of goods was $11, but this baby sold for $59.95. Full asking price, not promoted, and no sales. Would I recommend it? Highly recommended, but you got to be careful. If you see this at a flea market, garage sale, estate sale, open up the lid, look inside. Most of the parts have to be there at least, but you know, Aurora models of movie monsters like Frankenstein and Creature from the Black Lagoon, George Barris cars, those are very, very rare and hard to find. If you've never seen a particular model before, when you see it out in the wild, it's probably rare. I'd recommend picking it up if you could get it fairly cheap. Here's an example I'm going to put up here on the screen that's better than mine. I think it was new unbuilt. Very vintage, very valuable. Another set of vintage tobacco cards. This is a bigger set. Cost of goods, again, $2.17. This is a set of 50. Sold for $63.96. Again, part of the 20% off sale I had in my store. That's not bad with a cost of goods of $2. Highly recommended again. So as a side note, it appears that putting my entire eBay store 20% off really kick-started my sales. All right, this is what you've been waiting for, Dave. What are you talking about? How did you hit a home run? This is it. This is my big home run, baby. Now this is a mouthful, so I have to read from a script. Vintage car accessory Uncle Sam flag holder radiator cap mounted. What the heck is that? I know what you're thinking. What is that? Well, that vintage toy auction I was telling you about, where I got all these model trains and buildings and just stuff. Well, the auctioneer was getting frustrated and he was making piles, which I really love when they get frustrated because they just want to move along. Well, he was making piles of these plastic buildings in Ziploc bags that were all unassembled and just miscellaneous junk. And one of the piles had these 4 skinny white boxes with like flags sticking out of them. He didn't know what they were. I didn't know what they were. He just added it to a pile. I got the whole pile for like $7, and it was miscellaneous stuff. I put it in a blue tote, sat here in the eBay office for months, and I never even looked at it. Well, one day I was thinking to myself, you know, Lonnie Garage Flip said, you can't sell it if you don't list it. So I started going through my ephemera that I got from that sale, found some, you know, poison labels, and found some little tins for little patent medicine, and then those 4 skinny little boxes. So I opened it up and I pulled out a flag. And I thought, oh, that's kind of weird. It's a 48-star flag. Then I pulled out this Uncle Sam, which is kind of like fiberboard, almost like balsa wood, with Uncle Sam painted on both sides. And then at the bottom of the box was this manila envelope with clamps and hardware. No idea what this thing was. I thought, is it a whirligig? No, it's not a whirligig. Where do you clamp it? What is it for? I don't know. So I used Google Lens, took a picture of it, and the only thing that came up were plastic Uncle Sams that you can get from Dollar General. Some were inflatable Uncle Sams, nothing like what I had. So I just kept trying, and I kept searching, looking on eBay solds and Google Lens. Eventually I found one identical to mine, and it was nasty. It was all dirty, a little bit of damage. The hardware was exactly the same. The art on it was almost identical. It sold at auction for $411. I almost fell out of this ugly office chair onto the floor. $411, and mine is brand new in the box. Holy cow. So I did some research. So I listed it as an auction, and it went bananas. Within hours, I was getting views, I was getting watches. I listed it starting out $59.95. What's my cost of goods? Less than $1. So without using promoted listings, which you can do for auctions, this ended up with 23 watchers. I don't know how many views. It sold for $227. Woo! Cost of goods, I don't know, 20 cents, 40 cents, I have no idea, but I was thrilled. But I wrapped it, you know, in a mile of bubble wrap, put it in a nice big box. Don't ever put anything like this in a padded envelope or a padded mailer. Oh my gosh. This is vintagey, it's fragile, it deserves a box. So bubble wrapped it, put it in a box with shipping peanuts all around it, a packing slip with a big thank you on there, and got a great you know, positive feedback for this. The guy loves it. Now, why mine was brand new and spotless and the other one was all dirty and went for more, I'm not sure. I'm not a car expert. I'm thinking mine might have been manufactured in the 40s or 50s. I don't know. But that little manila envelope with the hardware, it said like Classic Clamp Company, and it was very old-fashioned print on that envelope. So I know it's vintage and I know it's old. I just don't know how old. All right, here we go again. Uncle Sam, round 2. So if you don't know, when you have an auction and you have multiple bids and people going crazy and auction fever and they're fighting over it, if you have more than just one, let's say you have like 3 identical items, like I do, you can send a second chance offer. So after the auction was over, eBay ads, like remember I said on the on my seller hub, I go to sold items, scroll down, it shows the Uncle Sam that I sold at auction, and then they added a feature to the drop down menu, and that's second chance offer. So people that bid below the winning bid, I can contact them and say, hey, I got another one identical to the one you lost, and your bid was $223. If you want it, you got 3 days to decide. I'll sell it to you for your bid of $223. That's exactly what I did, and man, he jumped on that in 5 minutes and it sold. Actually, $225 was his bid. So I sold 2 of those things to 2 different people, $452. Cost of goods, I don't know, Joey, what do you think, 60 cents into $452? Do I recommend that? Highly recommend that. Next is the vintage uncut roll of poison bottle labels. Now this is part of that vintage toy auction. I mentioned the guy was bundling stuff and moving stuff. There was a little pile of ephemera. I won that for, I don't know, $10, $8, something like that, sitting in the bottom of this blue tote. Didn't give it much thought, but then I thought, you know what, it's not gonna sell if I don't list it, so I gotta list it. I did try selling it as an auction with a high starting price of like $59.95, $69.95, and I didn't get any bids. So I relisted it as a buy it now. Actually, I take that back. I listed it much higher, and you'll see that in the picture, I believe. Maybe $129, I don't know. But it was on sale, 20% off. So it was listed with 20% off, $116. Then somebody sent me an offer of $75. Now this is a life lesson from Midwest Picker. Cost of goods less than $1. What is this thing worth? Here's the sticking point. There are none other on eBay. Not sold, not listed, not Terapeak. There is no complete roll of uncut poison label bottles of this exact label. Now there are other ones. No. Go, Max, my dog, wants to be part of the video. Yet. So there are other poison labels. I don't even know where I was. There are other poison labels identical to this one that are cut. Lots of 12, lots of 36. I couldn't find a complete roll that was uncut, so that's very unique and very strange. That makes it hard to determine the value because there are none. So either there are none because nobody wants it, or there are none because it's so entirely rare. So in either case, list it very, very high. You can always come down. So I listed it really super high, and somebody came along and offered me 75 bucks. It was the only offer. I thought, you know what? 20 cents into $75. Why would I say no to that? So I accepted the offer. Now I did think about it. I said, I have no idea how many labels are on this roll. 300, 500, I don't know. I did for 1 second think I could get a pair of scissors and I could cut these off the roll and sell them in lots of 36, lots of 24, lots of 12. People do that with some poison labels, but you know what? I thought, I don't want to do that. It's going to take forever to sell those. I'm just going to sell the whole roll and let somebody else deal with it. Would I recommend it? If you can get it cheap, sure. If it's uncut roll or an envelope with 50 or 60 in them and you can get it really cheap, yes, I do recommend them. Unused poison bottle labels. So that's the video, guys. I hope you liked it. Give it a big thumbs up. If you know anybody that's new to reselling, that this information is helpful, please hit that share button right down below this video and share it with somebody. So hit the share button, send that out. I know there's a lot of people that are looking for side hustles, looking for ways to make money from home. This is not easy, and you will not get rich. It takes a lot of work. But if Joey can do it, anybody can do it. So that's it, guys. Until next time, see ya.